Yet more drama at this year's World Darts Championship, as Mensur Suljović is called a cheat by Cullen after their controversial round 2 game. But it's far from the first time this has happened in the legendary Austrian's career, with him even winding up some of the biggest figures in the sport's history. Welcome back to Darts World. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the history of Mensur's slow playstyle and why it's led him to be called a cheat on many occasions. In his early televised appearances, such as at the 2002 BDO World Championship, Mensur had a very smooth and silky throw. However, he eventually began to struggle with dartitis, a mental condition that makes it hard for players to release their darts, meaning that he had to adapt his throw and grip to a very strange and unique one, which is not the quickest and has been described as making him frustrating to watch. Paul Nicholson has called Mensur one of the hardest players to face, but not because he was slow the whole time, but due to the variability in his pace, which saw him have some slow legs followed by quick ones. He said that you don't ever know what you're going to get from Mensur, unlike playing the always pedestrian Justin Pipe. By the 2011 World Championship, Mensur was making his 4th Ali Pali appearance, and he'd climbed up to world number 50 and was drawn in the first round against Michael van Gerwen, which may sound like a tough one, but back then, MVG was only just inside the top 32, and the odds had Mensur as only the slight outsider at 2-1. Mensur actually managed to win that game 3-1, reaching the second round for the third time in 4 attempts, meaning that he had a chance to reach round 3 for the first time, but then he got a very tough draw against the then world number 2 James Wade. Mensur was understandably a big outsider for that game, with average odds of 7.98 and one bookmaker offering higher than 11.0 on a win for the Austrian. However, Mensur managed to cause a big upset, winning 4-2 in North London. In the Sky Sports studio, Rod Harrington said on the slow pace of Mensur they had thrown James off of his rhythm. One media outlet said that Wade struggled to come to terms with the near-funeral pace of his unheralded Austrian opponent, whilst the BBC said that Mensur's slow pace caused problems for Wade. At the World Match Play in 2019, Mensur faced his good friend Gerwen Wattimena in the first round and was the big favourite with the bookies at 1.45, with Gerwen having odds as high as 3.4. The match would be hard for Gerwen due to the quality of Mensur, as well as the difference in the pace of the players, with Wattimena being one of the fastest throwers in the PDC. When the game got underway, Mensur was playing at his own pace and averaging in the 90s, and he managed to take a comfortable 4-1 lead heading into the first break, with Gerwen averaging just 84, having hit just 17% of his shots to double. Fans and pundits noted how Gerwen was getting rattled by the slow pace of Mensur, and this carried on following the break, becoming obvious in leg 9, where at 7-1 up, Suljović dropped a dart, leading Gerwen to give him a sarcastic applause, accusing him of doing it deliberately to slow the game down even more. Mensur went on to get a huge 10-1 win, averaging 96 compared to the 82 of Gerwen. Immediately after the game, Mensur gave his thoughts about the drop dart incident in an interview.
And just a moment where Gerwen was clapping you, what was going through your head, what was that about?
I don't know, my flying on the floor. So what is this problem? This is not me problem, it's a problem for him, sorry.
He made it clear that Gerwen was just rattled about something, but Wattimena felt the opposite, and in an interview for Dutch TV, he said the following: "Darts is not like it was in the past. It's not a fair game anymore. I want to recall Joe Cullen's comments. You need to win fair matches on merit. If you want to win like this, that's your choice. Suljović is a cheater." Although, on the following day, he released the following apology. "Firstly, I want to apologise to Mensur. I know him and he's a good player without bad intentions. He demolished me and it just didn't click for me. I was carried away by too many emotions and frustrated in my interview with RTL7. I shouldn't have done that. I want to wish Mensur all the best for the second round at the World Match Play." Some fans tweeted saying that Mensur knew exactly what he was doing playing slow against the rapid Gerwen, accusing him of gamesmanship, but PDC Pro Ryan Joyce responded saying that the Austrian throws at the same speed against any opponent. Therefore, I and many fans agree with this tweet. Mensur doing exactly what Mensur does, just takes his time, has a drink, puts some chalk on his hands, casually goes about his business. Wattimena was worse for letting any of that get to him. You know what you're going to get with Suljović, you just have to deal with it. Mensur was accused of gamesmanship again at the 2021 World Championship, where he faced Gary Anderson in a hard-to-call round 2 game, where he was a slight outsider at 2.2 compared to Gary, who was at 1.7. During the first set in particular, Mensur played very slow and took his time in between visits, playing around with chalk and his darts on his table. Gary went on to win the first set in a deciding 5th leg, but Mensur then won 3 of the next 4 sets to take a 3-2 lead, and at this point he seemed to be throwing quicker. Gary then won back-to-back sets to get a 4-3 win after a long game which took almost an hour and a half. Gary was visibly annoyed throughout most of the game, and at one point he got so angry that he launched an overarm dart at the board after missing on the inside of double 1. Following the game, Gary gave a now famous interview to Sky saying the following: "Absolutely dire, absolute joke of a game. Everyone says, why do you get cheesed off with darts? That's one of the reasons. Did you watch the last set, or the 3rd set? Was he slow then? No, he was not slow. I nicked it at the end. I don't know how, but if that's darts, I'm off ski. If that's how darts is going, and that's how it gets played now, have fun. I'm off. I'm away for a game of golf or something. I'm not going through that again." Many fans and pundits felt Mensur crossed the line in that game, but again, many sided with Mensur too, saying that he played at his own pace and didn't break any rules. Mensur eventually responded, saying the following in an interview with Online Darts: "World Championship is not my tournament. Every year lose 1st or 2nd round. This year, I didn't like this game. For me, not world champion. I like him. Brilliant player, however, it is not correct. I swear on my children, never doing this. Gary Anderson is my friend. Big player. I never do this with Gary. They say I play slow. This is not correct." 11 years after their first Ali Pali meeting, Mensur played Michael van Gerwen in the World Championship again in 2023, this time in round 3, and he was asked if he would try to slow Van Gerwen down to get him out of his rhythm, but he said this: "No, never, never doing this. Everyone always tells me I play slow against quick players, but I never do. I play my game, focus on my feelings. Michael is my friend. I like him. He's a brilliant guy." Now, let's take a look at this World Championship, where in his first game, Mensur averaged 94 in a comfortable 3-1 win over David Cameron, setting up a round 2 tie against Joe Cullen, who had averaged almost a ton in round 1. Ahead of the game, Mensur said that he liked Cullen and that he was a good friend. As a result of his better form, Joe headed into the tie as a pretty heavy favourite with bookmakers, some who had him quoted at 1.6, with Mensur around 2.3. And while Joe won the first set, he was clearly rattled by Mensur's pace, which was very, very slow, and particularly his long celebrations after not just set wins, but leg wins. At one point, referee Kirk Bevins had words with him about it, and Cullen was just clearly really annoyed. Mensur went on to win the game 3-1, and Joe gave him a death stare as he left the stage. Mensur had averaged around 5 points less than Joe, and won sets 2 and 4, averaging below 80. Both players' averages dropped from the mid to high 90s in round 1 to the mid to low 80s in that game, showing how the pace maybe affected Mensur's game as much as it did Joe's. Shortly after the game, Joe tweeted the following: "If that's darts, I don't want no part of it. Always liked Mensur away from the board, but that was plain for all to see. I don't think I'm alone in feeling this way. The old guard would say it's part of the game, but word it how you will. It's cheating. That's not darts." Now, I want you to let me know exactly what you think about the incident in the Cullen game. He doesn't really break any rules, but he certainly toes the line of gamesmanship. Do you think there should be a punishment? I'm not too sure about that, but he's now through to the next round and will play Luke Littler, which will certainly be very interesting. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe, as currently just 15% of my viewers are. You can also hit the bell icon if you want to get notified whenever I upload a brand new darts video during this busy festive period. If you learned something new today, please also be sure to leave a like, and if there's any topics you want me to cover also, you can let me know down below as well. See you in the next video.